Okay, I'm excited because we have been in a community of people who are really just trying to get ourselves together with sugar. And one of the things that we find is a huge struggle, not just for us, but for a lot of people, is that we're struggling trying to organize our meals. It's easy to go out and shop for groceries. You can pretty much get the groceries ordered online and get them delivered to you. But what's difficult is actually getting into the kitchen and making the time to make something that is fueling for your body. And so when we got to this part of the community, I was just like, well, for one, I'm not the chef. I'm not it. I cook the same thing over and over again, and that's kind of what keeps me safe. So I was like, we've got to reach out to someone who's not only doing it, but this couple, they've changed their lives and their health by doing what they do, which is cooking sugar-free meals. I'm so proud and excited to have this couple on because they it's not that they just represent sugar free. They represent like that we can do it. And if they can do it, and every time I talk to John and Christy, they tell me that I can do it, I'm just encouraged. So I'm encouraged, and I just want to put them on the screen. And y'all gonna love this. I can tell you, you're gonna love them. Welcome, John and Kristi Scott of
Hello.
Fatsos.
I,
Fatsos in Oregon, of all places. So if
yes,
we can get started, I guess social media is a wild thing because that's how we know each other. It's through
Yeah.
social media. Um, the lifestyle that they live is the lifestyle that I hope to achieve, which is getting in that kitchen all the time and making all of my meals. And then when I find an ingredient that I want to duplicate, I want to be able to do what they do, which is to make their own ingredients. So if we can just start from and act like we don't know each other. We can just start there and introduce yourself and tell us just where you are and where you're from, and then we'll get into your story because this group, we need to hear it.
oh, me?
Either way, go for it.
We're John and Kristi Scott. We live in Southern Oregon. We've been living in Southern Oregon since 2013, but I'm originally from Northern Oregon in the Portland area, and John's from Texas, your area over there. Younger going back and forth. We've been married for 28 years. 28 years. We've gone through a lot of things together. We right now we own a business called Fatsos, and during our time frame of finding the best health for each other, he's the cook, I'm the eater, so this is the best health for each other. In the process of doing that, we went through several revelations of different healthcare issue, stories. We've gone through Jillian Michaels, we did Shanti, we danced our butts off, we did P90X, we did fruit smoothies, we did everything. Those were things that were okay at the time frame that we were doing it. But then once we stopped doing the 5 meal a day plan or whatever plan it was, we got the weight right back. The smoothie diet made us gain a lot of weight. And we were just trying to find health for each other because his family is filled with a lot of diabetes, congestive heart failure, chronic kidney failure, stroke. And I did not want to go down that path with him to find that. And my side of the family has a lot of cancer in it. So instead of waiting till these things happen to us, we wanted to see if we can do some prevention and, live happier lives and be more comfortable in our own skin. So we decided to try keto, found a cookbook, found a plan, a 28-day plan, and said, well, we tried everything else. Let's give this a try. And immediately we just started feeling so much better. We started just dropping pounds. We just started feeling mentally better with each other. And then doing these meals together kind of made us a little bit closer also, because it was just kind of this team thing that we had to do. And once we started doing that, we were like, this, hey, this is something that we can do. He loves to cook. I love to eat. They were good meals. We were having a good time. And so we continued on this journey. And then what had happened is COVID came around. And during that time, restaurants started to close, everybody was on lockdown. And John had always wanted to start some sort of food business because he's such a good cook. And so he started on his own. He did medical offices. He started bringing sample platters to medical offices of these keto-fied goodies. And then he got his truck and he started doing his truck on the weekends. And then we were just talking about the manor stopped being flexible with him on the weekends. So then he's like, I'm going to do this full time. And so he opened up his truck full time, started feeding the people, has keto plastered all over his truck. And he was thinking, we're not going to get anybody to do that. But at the same time, the food was so good, and we sampled as many things as we could sample. When people would come up and they would like, oh, I don't know if I want that, he would give them a sample and they're like, oh, okay, all right then. And then in that process of doing that, I was also introducing people into how we eat, why we eat, how it affects them, what can things do, different foods affect their bodies, and if they're having any issues that they were concerned about, how could food help with that? And it just became this mission of stuff that we've done. 5 years this year, we'll have the truck and a mission. He has a meal plan with clients.
Yeah, I just started a meal plan probably 2 months ago for just a family of four, and word of mouth. Now I have 60, I
60
think
something.
68 families.
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
just been an amazing thing, but I think also the beginning of the year, people are like, oh, I want to, be more health conscious and are looking at different options for themselves. And keto and sugar free and all of that doesn't seem to be as horrible as people think it is anymore. As long as we educate, as long as we tell them, this is a delicious way of life. You can eat really good food and not feel like you're depriving yourself of anything and feel better also. The benefit of it is also feeling better and, getting your weight down if that's an issue, getting your A1C down if that's an issue, getting off of medications if those are issues, just by the way that you eat. And so that's kind of what he is. He's a food missionary and I'm the face of the window. So I take the orders and the money, taste test every once in a while, and then he feeds them the good stuff. So that's kind of our story, and in educating people along the way. So we just want to make sure that people are educated in what they're eating. Even they may not be sugar free, they may not be gluten free, they may not be a whole bunch of stuff, but you know what, we can educate. And if they find something that's like, oh, my doctor told me this, and I'm like, okay, well, here we go, this is how we can help. This is kind of the things that you can do to get yourself started on this way of life.
And then quite
Wow.
frequently we get customers that'll reach out or email or give us a call, and they're wanting to change their lifestyle, and then they'll give us a call, and then she'll like get certain information from them. There, a lot of them are diabetic, some of them aren't, and we've got a lot of success stories from customers who started with us. We have some customers that have lost 20 pounds, 30 pounds. We have a long customer, Wairika. She's lost over 100 pounds. So
Wow.
it's just a good thing for us.
It's a feel
Yeah.
good, it's a feel good
Yeah.
thing.
So I want to go back just for a little bit because I feel like we could talk all night. I know we can't, but I literally could talk to you all night. But I want to go back to John's health
Okay.
and just get a snapshot of what that looked like pre,
Um,
you becoming a chef and doing a whole food truck thing.
well,
Because
the
I think the biggest thing too is like I find that It's really difficult to reel men in on this mission. Women, we're kind of in it for, I think at first, like we're drawn in it to for superficial reasons mostly. And then we get the why when we're really in it. Like, oh no, I don't want to feel bad. But it's difficult to get men reeled into this line. So tell us, how was John feeling? What was John looking like?
Uh,
And yeah, before.
John was heavy
Mm.
because John was a taste tester of everything he cooked and ate, which was sugar and carbs. And you know how they say never trust a skinny chef. I wasn't skinny, but uh, long story short, I'm the youngest of 9 children, and I lost both of my parents when I was a teenager to diabetes, heart failure, uh, all of that stuff. And then later on, I lost. Uh, Got to keep
Isaac,
count. Lost my oldest brother to diabetes. Uh,
your sister,
my sister to diabetes. It was 45, and then I lost another sister in 21 to diabetes, liver,
chronic
chronic
kidney
kidney
failure.
failure, and so it was kind of a scary wake up call for me because my when I lost my sister when she was 45, I was 40, and it scared me. I was like, and me when I growing up, I didn't know that diabetes was reversed, and I just figured I was going to get diabetes. That's just
In the family.
in the family. I figured it was hereditary. And so when I was 40 and my sister died at 45, I just assumed, hey, I maybe I've got a few years left. But
I wasn't having
she
it.
wasn't having it. And plus, we have a son, and I didn't want my son to be without me like I was without my parents as a teenager. And so we try like I said, we tried everything, and it's as soon as we started keto, it just stuck. I mean, I was just surprised. For women, it's different. My very first week, I lost 13 pounds. The following week, I lost 12 pounds. The week after that, I lost 9. The following week, I lost 11. Pounds were just dropping off, and I was feeling great. I was sleeping great. There was no more back pain. Um, I had what was it?
Heartburn
I had heartburn all
all
the
the
time.
time.
Every time I ate anything, I had heartburn. When we started keto, we've been keto since 2017. I've maybe had heartburn twice. So I mean, I'm clear headed. Um, there's just so many things that are different that are great now since we started this. And I mean, yeah, and it's really hard to get men on board, but I think the fact that people see us together as a couple and we're doing this together, that's what's drawing in more couples that we have now.
Makes sense. Wow. So this thing is deeper, and I understand completely when you say I thought I was going to get it. Because I talk a lot about medical fatalism and the belief that we're going to develop these diseases just because it runs in our family. And clearly you were able to turn your numbers around, turn your weight around, turn how you feel around. So I think that's just an amazing story. The other thing that I really think is interesting about the two of you as a couple is that you not only changed what you were doing in the kitchen, but you basically switched careers
Yeah.
because
Yep.
he was into IT, had his own business, I believe, at first, and then
Definitely.
transitioned to um,
Doing the
having the
truck.
food, yeah, doing the food truck. And so in a time where I don't know, pre-COVID, I think anytime you start a business, it's scary. And whenever you're going to drop your thing that's working for you and say, I'm going to go do this full time. I just want to know a little bit more about that story, which also led you to start, Christy, doing nutrition work.
Yeah. Yes. Um, yeah, he loves to cook. I think that I mean, even while he was doing IT, he was like the chef of everything all the time anyway. The
Yeah.
parties,
Family
you
functions,
know,
just everything. That's just what I did. That was my thing. Just cooking. Even as a little kid, I was always in the kitchen with either my mom or my dad, and that was just my it's always been my passion. I mean, I've cooked before I got into IT, But how the restaurant thing kind of started, my nephew, he's also a chef, and he had a food truck, and it wasn't a healthy food truck by any means necessary. And we used to, growing up, we competed all the time when it came to cooking. And he started his food truck, and I think he did it for a couple of years. And it gave me the bug again then to do it, but that was a while back, and so I just continued with my IT work. And then once we started eating better, the niche came back because we couldn't find anywhere to go eat. I was cooking at home, but with us both working, I had a 40-hour job. She had her regular job, and then I'm doing the truck on the weekends. So I really didn't have a lot of time to cook at home. But I mean, I did it because we had started that journey. And when people started coming to the truck and word of mouth started getting out, and it spread fast. It spread really fast. So our customer base just flew through the roof. And when my IT job started having issues with me, they wanted me to come back to work on Fridays and weekends, I was like, no, I'm having too much fun doing what I'm enjoying this way. I make my own hours and make more money doing what I'm doing there, dealing with you people.
And
And
making
and
people
I'm
feel
happy
better.
and making people feel better about themselves. And being in IT also was another job that you sat down a lot. So the weight was gaining there. But that's kind of how the truck actually started. Actually, we wanted to do like a cafe, but like she said, COVID kicked in, and opening the food truck was like the best thing because all the restaurants were closed, but all the food trucks were open.
Wow. And so this also led to Christy learning more about food. I think you both were on that journey to learn more about ingredients because if you wanted to mock something that had ketchup, then you were like, we can make our own,
Yes.
and the stuff that's in the store. So not only are you a chef, but you are conscious about the ingredients that are going into the food, and then you started making your own. So if you
Yeah.
can tell us a little bit more about that, I think we would love to hear it.
We make just about everything: mayonnaise,
Ketchup, barbecue
ketchup,
sauce.
barbecue sauce, syrup, um,
Any of our sauces really. And our spice blends.
spice blends. I make all my own spice
And
blends.
we do that.
Um, we make our own spice blends because the majority of the spice blends you catch in the market all have some sort of sugar. It's not the name sugar, but they all have a lot of bad ingredients in them. So we just started making our own spices. Um, Pretty
Sauces.
much our sauces, our own, blue cheese dressing, ranch dressing,
Peanut butter.
homemade peanut butter, homemade jelly, Italian dressings, um, our own homemade marineras. We actually make our own loaves of bread. We make our own hoagie rolls. We have
Desserts.
people, all our own desserts. We have people that special order loaves of breads from us. They order hoagies from us, dinner rolls, jars of peanut butter. Um,
Because we feed people, a lot of the times the people that come to our truck have a lot of other types of issues where they're gluten free
Celiac.
or celiac. They have a lot of different types of allergies or something. If we're making the product, then we can tell them exactly what's in it. And we can tell them, yes, it has it. No, it doesn't. We can sub it for something else. And it gives them a flexibility to be able to go out and eat somewhere also. But it's nice, clean products. I mean, it doesn't take very much to make something taste good. Once we get all the other stuff out of our systems, because sugar is in everything. And so when we're eating that, we can't taste the food that's actually there, like the basic break it down, cook a burger, cook a steak food because of all the other stuff they put on it. But once we eliminate those things from our diet, everything tastes sweeter, all on its natural own. Food just tastes really good. And we're not carbon out on a lot of things by just going up and down, up and down, up and down. We actually eat food that satiates you, that makes you feel fuller longer, keeping your blood sugar steady so that you're not getting those spikes up and down where you're like, oh, okay, I'm hungry again. Let me get something to eat. Let me snack on this. Let me snack on that. So when people experience that change in their way of eating and how they feel, then they understand what food is doing to them. Then they understand what that piece of bread or that loaf of bread per Subways is doing is doing to them. Or the Chinese food with all the noodles and all of that. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry again in another couple of hours because this is what it's doing to you inside of your body and it's making you want to go in. So when we make our own stuff, we make sure that it doesn't have like hidden sugars in there that spice blends tend to have or sauces tend to have, just clean, basic ingredients.
I'm actually kind of working on, haven't quite got it perfected yet, but we're working on our own drinks. Instead of water,
Mm.
serving waters on the truck, we're working on drinks that are sugar free but taste great for our customers. And so there's, I mean, there's a lot of things that we're working on. I would like to mention a story that just happened. Well, something that was really positive for us. We had a customer that came to the truck for the first time, and what does he wear that? CGM.
CGM.
He has a
Yeah.
CGM monitor that, and he said he's heard about us and he wanted to try our food. And excuse my French, he flat out told me you guys are probably full of shit. But he ordered a full meal, desserts, and everything and we told him to reach back to us in about an hour or so and text us or whatever, and we got a text message from him an hour later, and he actually told me, I thought you were full of shit. He checked his sugar, and his sugar was actually lower than what it was before he came to the truck. So
I'm
that
just
was
like, wow.
Yeah.
so that
And
was,
that's
Yeah.
and then he texted back another about an
2
hour
hours
after
later. So
that,
we had him do a 1 hour and a 2 hour.
and he was just blown away. And he's telling, because
All of his
there's
friends.
like a group of them that all wear these monitors, and now he told everybody, and so that just added to our customer base.
Mhm. You know, the one thing that, and I just think, oh my gosh, you know, you get to this thing where you're really trying to help people, you know, and what I do know is I will run people off the road with my boring, like the way that I eat. And so I was just like, that's why the chat is blowing up. They're like, we got to go on a field trip to Oregon.
Yes.
Well, you know,
That's
We're going to be
we're
coming
gonna
to
be coming to
Texas.
Texas.
yes.
My
Not
Too.
family.
everybody on this call is from Texas, but y'all are Texas people. They're gonna come. They'll be here in July. July, right?
Yeah, I have a family.
Yep.
My family reunion will be in
Yes.
July,
So we'll
Arlington.
be seeing them in July. I know I am. Yeah, but you know, it just for a lot of people, they can't do just plain thing over and over and over again. And I love that that's what you all have done is just said we're going to change up the game because not it sounds like you had to do that because you are also that way. You know,
Yes.
like you don't want to do the same thing over and over again.
I can
So,
do
I can't do it.
leftovers.
I can't
oh,
even eat. I don't like leftovers. I will not eat I mean, like we make protein. I love lasagna. Before we even
mm,
went keto, I made lasagna all the time, but we used pasta noodles, lasagna noodles, and even with then I couldn't eat the next day. Now, she can eat the same thing like 3, 4 days in a row.
Beggars can't be
mm,
I
choosers.
love to
Not of
cook,
me.
so I like eating something different.
yeah.
And when we missed lasagna, I was like, okay, there's different ways. We got to get that lasagna back in my stomach somehow without the noodles. So we tried different variations of with the zucchini noodles,
Yeah.
and it's too soggy.
Mm,
And so now we have a lasagna that we make. It's a protein lasagna, and
mm,
people around. It's part of my meal plan, and people around here requested. It's like because I do a new menu every week, but these people want like certain items, the same item every week.
yeah.
They're
Uh,
leftover people.
Leftover people, and the lasagna that we make, I can probably maybe send out a video of it. Instead of using pasta noodles, it's basically layered with roasted turkey.
Interesting.
But customers, they couldn't tell. They were like, John,
It was just that
how is
part.
this lasagna without the noodles? Why did you put noodles in your lasagna? You can't really tell,
No, it's so
you
good.
know. And
Smart.
pasta has no
Yeah.
flavor. Pasta has no flavor anyway. I
That's
tell people that
Hmm.
all the time.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Rice and
you're making me think about like 2 weeks from now, because the thing, we've got John and Christy are coming. They're gonna be with us next week, and that's where we're just gonna pretend like we're on grandmama's front porch, and we're going to have a discussion about our barriers. The barriers that we have by grocery shopping or either cooking in our own kitchens, confined to these smaller spaces, or not having creative ideas just to come up with meals. And then the week after that, we're actually going to cook. John's going to let us know which ingredients that we'll need, and we're going to cook, and it's going to be guided by John and Christy. Christy's going to be hopefully monitoring. She's very clear that she's not the cook. So
no, I'm the taste
Yeah,
tester.
yeah. Oh,
I'll start off with
I love
something
it.
simple. I mean, because like I said, I go into the kitchen or I'll have an ideal and I've got to go in there. And I mean, you guys are still in Texas, so there's meals
Mhm.
that I have made healthy, but I make collard green gumbo. Uh,
Mm.
you, she's like,
We just had chili corn. We just had chili
chili
cornbread.
cornbread. I make
So
keto,
good.
gluten-free cornbread. People are loving that. I mean, there's a substitute for everything. Instead of using potatoes, I use daikon radishes. Um, they take on the same texture and people. I mean, a lot of the stuff I make, people can't tell the difference. I just started making. We had a lady that says she's been to um, Mexico, all over the place,
Mm.
eating tamales
Oh yeah,
all over
Mm.
the place. I actually made keto gluten-free tamales and she fell in love with them. So we make our own masa that's gluten free, no added sugars, no wheats, no grains, no flours. So that's what I
no
basically
has flour.
do. Oh, well, it has almond flour and coconut flour, so no traditional flour. But what I
Nick.
do is I get a lot of requests, or I reach out to a lot of my customers, and I'll ask them what foods do they miss that are not healthy. Let me know, and I'll make it healthy. So it's like a challenge to me.
There you
I
go.
love it.
Do a
I love
poll and
it.
see what everybody wants
So
to
you
Yeah.
eat.
can do this. If you can do a poll, tell me something that you want to eat.
Mac and cheese.
Oh yes,
Yes,
I
we
do
do a
mac and
great,
cheese
Oh,
all the
put that
time.
on there.
good one.
I make my own homemade cheese sauce off the
Okay.
chain. Yeah.
We
So,
could do
and
that.
we're going to do that. I think I think the best way is for you all to send me either a text message or an email. That way we can figure out what we're going to ask him to have us to make in 2 weeks from now. Because
Yes.
this sounds so much like
Challenge.
this is the fun. This is where we're getting into fun.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to pick on John again because John is a preacher's kid. So I've got to figure out how to politely ask you about the
We ain't
word,
no good. We ain't no good.
the word, and
That's why
our
I said us preacher
food.
kids ain't no good. No.
No, no, look, I know you're good because Christy's there. Look, I know you're good. But putting, because I think a lot of times we put our faith forward. And I do believe in putting our faith forward, but there's so much that we have to do. Like we literally have to act. And I just want to know, how do you blend those two worlds of being a preacher's kid with your ideology of food now? Because it's a whole concept where you're not sitting in the back seat and praying to God. Now you like, oh no, I'm actually bringing it to God. I'm introducing to God some new ingredients or things to put in the food. So I'm just curious how you manage that
Well,
and how you pulled away from a
I'll,
background that.
I'll explain it a little bit and then I'll show you something. So,
Mm.
being a preacher's kid was tough. You, you quite sure you guys probably not preacher's kids, but you were made to go to church 8 days a week, 11 hours a day. And so I was supposed to, me being the youngest, I was supposed to follow in my father's footstep. Oh, you're supposed to be a preacher. You're supposed to, I just, it just wasn't my thing. But I've always wanted to help people in some way. Besides my father being a preacher, my mother was a very strong missionary who started a mission uh, back in, ooh,
Just
I don't know, I don't know, probably early 70s, prayer rescue house mission, where she basically took in battered women, homeless people, or whatever. It was just this mission that she did for years. She did that up until the day she died. And, my older siblings and, everybody else was saying I needed to follow in that footstep. But to me, church, I can worship God anywhere. I didn't have to be a church to do that. And I wanted to figure out a way to give back. And food was my way of giving back after we started our journey. Uh, I can help people take care of their bodies, giving them longevity, teaching them a better way to eat, a better way to live. That's so
taking care of their
that's
temple.
taking care of, how my body is my temple. That was my mission, was to help them with their temple. And so uh with that, I came up with my calling. Instead of being a preacher or a missionary, my slogan is I'm a food missionary. And I'll just show you something. So this is something we had. I have clothes that I wear all the time. You probably can't see that, but
Work shirt.
that's my work shirt on the back. It says food missionary.
I love that. I love it.
And so that's my way of blending
Faith.
my faith and my preacher, you know
Mission.
my mission. That's me blending all that together to be able to help people. I have a large family all over Texas, and that's one of my. I wish I was still living in Texas. I have a big family there that I need to take care of. A
Hmm.
big family, and I mean that in the biggest sense, that I need to take care of. I feel like that's my need. It's my mission to do that. They all follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and they're so proud, and I get that all the time, and I'm glad that they're proud of me, but I also want them on that same journey that we're on.
Wow.
So because I honestly do believe that your body is your temple.
Hmm. And I also think too, the fact that you tie in, religion, or God into your work speaks volumes. I mean, and then it shows how when you took the four people you were helping, and now that's turned into 68 people who you're now food prepping for. It goes to show too how our tongue is so important for us to spread the word and to use our voice and to tell, hey, what's going on with you? Oh, John and Kristi Fatsos, they're cooking for me, you know. And I think it's incredible how you're using your calling in a way to where it's actually, to me, saving lives.
Yeah.
You're using that's what's happening.
Yeah, we have people that we have I mean, it's a blessing to us. It's just surprising. We didn't know it was going to take off this big. And it's just so rewarding. We're on an app called Seed Oil Free app, a gluten-free app. So when people are traveling from California to Washington, or they'll punch in seed oil free, gluten
Gluten-free.
free, and where we are in Medford, we're the only place. And so we get people who are traveling through, and we meet people from all over that just stop through. We have a lady that every time she flies into town from Costa Rica, she looks us up. She's
Mm,
diabetic, and so whenever she's in town, I do all the cooking. Christy does all the baking. So, she bakes cakes and cookies and donuts and cheesecakes and you name it, for people who are diabetic or whatever, that miss their sweets. That's where she comes in. She makes desserts for everyone, custom birthday cakes, you name it.
yeah.
And they're all
Okay.
sugar free and gluten free.
Okay. I have one more question, and then we're just going to open it up so they can get to know you because we're going to be spending time with you for the next 3 weeks. The last question is, how do you define keto? Because there's so many different versions of the word out there, and how do you define it? Just keto.
Our definition of keto is more along the lines of a healthy way of eating. Keto in of itself is just keeping your carbs low. No matter what you eat, as long as you're not going over a certain carb limit, then a lot of people consider that keto. We do it for health reasons. So we also take other things that are not appropriate for our bodies, like the seed oils, gluten. Um, we're more towards the ketovore, more of the meat part with very little veg on there, but looking out for all the ingredients and everything. So we try to keep ours below 10 to 20 to 10 to 20 carbs per day total. We don't do the net thing. We just do the total carbs a day on
That's
there.
good.
And that's just a way for us to do it. And if you're eating more of a carnivore-ish, it's easy to hit that goal. When you start adding, the little bit of veg in there, we pay attention to the glycemic index, the carbs, and all of those things to make sure. And your bodies will tell you too. Your body is going to say, "Oh, that's not for me. I
Right.
have a lot of things that are not for me.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not for me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we get once you cleanse yourself of all these improper foods out of your body and start reintroducing them, your
Mhm.
body it's the smartest thing ever. It doesn't want you to eat things that are bad for you. It wants you to sustain life in every way that you can. It's going to tell you that that's not for you.
Yeah.
Whether that's an allergy or you're inflamed or whether you're just not feeling well, any of that. Your body's smart and it tells you what it
Mhm.
likes and what it doesn't like once you clean everything out.
Yeah.
So that's keto for us. Healthy keto, keeping our bodies clean, very low carb, but also enjoying our food as well. So.
Yeah. Love it. Okay.
Got
So
so many
I,
opportunities. So it's growing.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely growing.
Yeah. In the right places too. I think it's
Yeah.
been shielded or either, people of color, we just weren't going out there looking for it. But now I feel like everybody at least has heard about it. And I think that's what's good. That's what's good.
She likes to bake. The dessert thing is not my. I mean, I'll do like the chicken and waffles. I make the waffles and the syrup and all that. But far as like the pastries and the cookies and well, I do make one cookie. she, I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of it.
Somebody's like chocolate chip cookies in the chat.
Oh no, but
That's
growing up, my dad used to make. You guys probably know what they are. The tea cakes,
Mm. I've
Southern
heard
tea
of them.
cakes.
I've never had it before,
Oh
but
man, you
I've
don't know
heard of
what you're missing. So we used to like sit in the kitchen and just wait on them. Just wait. I mean, as soon as they come out the oven, we burning our tongue eating them. They just
them.
hot. They full of sugar and flour. And uh,
Yeah.
about a year ago, I started thinking about them, and I told her I wanted to figure out how to make keto, sugar-free, gluten-free tea cakes. And so I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And I got this whole community hooked on them tea cakes.
Wow.
I
See?
think I think that's one of the big hindrances also, like you were talking about family and tradition.
Mhm.
And traditionally speaking, we always got together to have big, huge meals of
Mhm.
all sorts
Sorts
of
of
stuff that we
garbage.
shouldn't have been putting in our bodies.
Mhm.
And so it's hard to break away from tradition. It's hard to break away from what you feel is family time, always being around food and, doing that. But if you can find subs for things and it doesn't make you feel like you're missing out on something, or, knowing that, okay, I'm going to this family function, what can I do beforehand so I'm not, you know, out there and like, oh, I'm craving this or craving that. I think those are one of the things that we've had to learn also. I grew up Asian and Italian, so I've got all the rice on this one
Ooh,
side over here, all the
the
rice
bread.
cake, the rice, everything. And over on this side, I had all the pasta and all
Ooh.
the rigatonis and
Mm.
all of that stuff. So I had to figure out that every time I go and eat something, like John said, pasta doesn't have flavor, rice doesn't have
Mm.
flavor. everything tastes just as good or even better without that extra rice. I could just have a bowl of, spaghetti sauce, just like a bolognese without even having any pasta underneath of it. Or I could have what we call adobo without having any rice underneath of it. And so just learning that things taste good even without that extra filling in there.
And you can make rice, you can make cauli rice. Just head a cauliflower, run
Mm.
it through a food processor just enough to make it look like rice. Fry up some bacon, take the bacon out, and basically fry the cauliflower up in the bacon grease. Add your green onions, and I mean, there's a substitute for everything that you miss.
Wow. There we go.
And
We can make
so,
it happen.
like I said, soul food. I can make a soul food plate that's healthy, and you can look at it and can't tell that it's healthy, but it's soul food.
Well, we're ready for it. So, okay, just to recap, next week we're gonna get with John and Christy. We're just gonna talk like we're on grandmama's porch. And we're just gonna talk about food. We're gonna talk about why this isn't working, why that doesn't work, and what to do at the family reunion, what to bring to the family reunion. So we'll talk about our barriers then. So that's just open discussion. There's no Q&A, there's no interview. We're just going to talk. And then the week after that, we're going to cook. John's gonna tell us and instruct us on how to cook. Hopefully, we'll get it done within 60 minutes. I think we can do it.
Oh yeah,
That's the biggest thing. We're just like trying to do something that we can do in our own kitchen.
yeah. I'll
And
try
then
to do something with the limited ingredients.
They're gonna give you ideas
Oh,
of
they're
what
gonna
they
give me
want.
yeah,
ideas.
we got to give you,
Don't
yeah,
tell them.
or either you can send me a couple of things
Option.
on your menu. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I can just shoot it to the group and we'll take a vote.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we can
And
definitely.
then the last week we're just going to get back on grandmama's porch again and we're going to talk about our cravings, our triggers, and then strategies to keep lasting change. So I think this is probably one of the most crucial parts of changing your ways is just how we eat. So now we're open up for a Q&A and anybody you just turn your mic on and go for it.
And I just want to let everybody know if you kind of want to get an idea of what we cook, or if you want to have visuals, just look us up on Facebook and Instagram under Fatsos.
Fatsos
Fatsos
Chiquitos.
Chiquitos. You can private message me if you have questions, and if I can't answer them, she'll answer them, or just if you need any information, we put that out there to everybody.
Okay, it's open. I know everybody on this call, and I don't know anyone that's shy.
Okay, so when are you coming to Texas, and where will you be, and how long, and are you bringing the truck and all of that?
I'm not bringing the truck. I have a really big family, California, Oklahoma, Texas, and
Family
so
reunion.
we do a family reunion every 2 years, and it's moved around either from California, Oklahoma, or to Texas. And this year, it's going to be in Texas. And the reason why they do it every 2 years, it's such a huge function. I
Yeah.
think the biggest one we ever had was like 1,200 people.
But
Wow.
you know how to get around that is just invite him to dinner. Invite them to dinner,
Right,
ain't you? Right?
right,
And then
right, right.
yeah.
Because
Because you
it's
Or
said
a
or
reunion.
or you know how we do it as Black folks. Just show up at the reunion
show
and
up.
hey, cousin.
Okay.
My cousin.
We're showing up at the reunion anyway. Look.
Right, right, right. And you
Look, the
said in
reunion
Arlington, Texas?
will be in Arlington, Texas this year
Okay.
Yeah.
in July.
15 minutes from me. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
there we
there you
go.
go.
Yeah.
I'm there.
No.
So
We
that's
we got him.
what's your name?
Sherry
Okay,
Turpin.
I'll tell everybody that's cousin Sherry.
Cousin
Yeah.
Sherry.
Gonna
That's
meet the
right.
other cousin Sherry while we over there too.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's quiet as kept. We might be related anyway.
We
So
might
there you
we
go.
might be.
I,
I'm Jackson, Dunbar, Gilmore, Preston.
and
So
stuff.
the reunion is actually the Jackson Preston family reunion
okay.
every 2 years.
Wow.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody? Just jump on, turn your mic, and go for it.
I don't live anywhere near Texas, so I'm wondering if you sell any of your products that you can ship.
You know what? I've got a lot of
Requests for that.
requests for that, and I mean,
He may eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I can look into it. I have, family in Mississippi and Texas that want me to ship them food. Um,
It's a process, because our the food that we have doesn't contain any preservatives. So, it's fresh. It doesn't have a long shelf life on there, but he would have to look into the processing of a quick freeze and then, frozen shipping. So
desserts
it's a
would
little
be
bit
easier
desserts are
to
easier.
ship to you than it would be like the prepackaged
Meals.
meals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing cookies pop up at the bottom, so we could possibly ship you some cookies.
I make a real good peanut butter, almost like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yes,
Just
our
saying.
own homemade Reese's
That was
peanut
one of
butter
the things,
cups.
so we figured out
Yeah.
how to make it.
So donuts, cookies, cheesecake.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Go on our
Oh my
page. If
gosh.
you go on our page, you'll see a lot of it on there. Crepes, like our own big, like I said, savory. I mean, sweet waffles for the chicken and waffles, and could show you how to make your own homemade maple syrup that's sugar free. Um,
Wow.
Lots of options.
Lots of options.
Being sugar free doesn't mean that you have to, you have to stop doing all of the things or having all the things that you enjoyed. I think one of also the other things too is when you start going in a direction of more of a sugar free lifestyle, you actually don't have as many cravings for that sugar as you did before. It doesn't have that call in. But a little bit is, just a little bite-sized amount of something can get you through whatever, what kind of craving or hump that you got at that time, where you don't have to take like a whole bag of, thing of cookies or chips or all of that stuff, just to satiate you and say, okay, get me over this, and just a small little sweetness.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We have customers. I'm quite sure you guys know what DoorDash and Grubhub and all those things.
Mhm.
We'll be on the truck and we'll get an order, and I'm back there ready to cook, and nope,
They just want
all they
desserts.
want is 3 cookies.
They just want some desserts.
So,
But if it gets you through
so they'll pay that
and you
extra
can get through your
$5 for the
day,
delivery. The service fee and the delivery fee costs more than the stupid cookies, but they miss those sweets, and that's what we're there for, is to give them that to take care of that little edge that they have.
yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, just a small amount. We don't do excess amounts because because the body doesn't know the difference between actual table sugar versus the sweeteners that we use. So if you have a sugar addiction, even that little bit is going to have you craving and craving. So we only do small little bites of stuff, don't to get you just over and until you can, manage that craving for the moment.
Yeah, we have like a trio on the menu. We have a trio, so you'll get three different desserts. So you might get a Reese's peanut butter cup bar, a protein pecan bar, and a donut, or you'll get a couple of,
Southern tea cake.
or you'll get a couple of Southern tea cakes, peanut butter bar, and a cookie. Or I mean,
It's a variety.
during the summer, I do.
Mhm.
Oh, that's my other dessert. During the summer, I do a cheesecake fluff.
Mm.
I mean, it's just just enough to take care of that little sweet tooth.
Gotcha. Any questions, anybody? Roz, I'm surprised you haven't asked me. Roz is kind of like the more creative. Like she made a dressing with pecans
Ooh.
instead of, yeah. So she's probably the most creative out of all of us. So I'm I'm curious, Roz, if you have any questions for him.
Oh, well, good evening, everybody. And I want to
Hey, hey.
thank our guests.
Thank you, Roz.
Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. And thank you so much for sharing all the information. But no, I don't actually have any questions. I do want to thank you for the work that you're doing. And I want to thank you for your presence in, the African American community, because we can't have enough of this information, that's for sure. So I just want to thank you guys. But it's like Sean says, I actually enjoy experimenting with different food combinations. And one of the things that had to admit is that I had a very low food intelligence because of how I grew up. I just only knew the food that I knew, and I only knew the spices that I knew. And so I had to actually educate myself and just become more familiar with different types of vegetables and seasonings and spices. And I had to just explore. And it really is a journey just to explore what I really like and what my body will tolerate. So it's a
Yeah.
journey, and I'm really happy to be, on the journey. I can't thank Shun enough. I'm so grateful for Shun and her platform and the work that she's doing. So thank
Yeah.
you guys. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
might have to send you a recipe for dressing too. We created a dressing this year when we went to the family function for Thanksgiving, and they had already made dressing, but our dressing was keto, and everybody ate our dressing.
There you
I
go.
don't know if she was.
Or you
Oh yeah.
was it the Thanksgiving dressing that Roz made?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
We
yeah,
made
yeah, I
one.
was playing around with it was for one Thanksgiving. I wanted to see if I could create the texture that,
Mm,
because like you say, it really is the flavor, to be
mm,
honest. People
mm,
don't care if it's cornbread or if it's pecans or if it's walnuts. People really could actually care less. All
As
they
long as
want
it's
to
good.
do, all they want to have is the same flavor that they're familiar with, and they
mhm.
wanted to have that texture that they are familiar with, and that's what I was experimenting with.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
we made ours out of pork rinds.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah,
There you
it
go.
they when people eat, they just like the familiar. They just want something that tastes like macaroni and cheese. I mean,
Mm,
it's just familiar. It's something, that it's comfort
That you
food for
missed.
you. So
mhm,
you can recreate all of those things using different ingredients. And so
mhm,
when you bring your dressing over to the family and the family's like, oh, this is good, and it's not made with all the other stuff in there, then you
mhm,
are creating a new tradition over there, hopefully with them, that they'll keep on going with it and then bringing it to someone else. So that's what we want to do, is bring a food product that is something that you're familiar with better ingredients, that you can sit up there and say, okay, yeah, I'll keep on making this. This is the better way to do it. And I can see myself doing that.
yeah. Um,
So you go,
okay.
Roz.
Yes. Roz is on a whole different level. I am so grateful for the two of you.
We're
I
grateful
really
for
am.
you and for
I'm
the
just,
tech fam over there.
Yes.
yeah, and
I can't
just the
wait to
fact,
get back. We haven't been there since.
Since Annie's 80th
Yeah, I
birthday.
went to my
I
surprise
know,
my aunt for her 80th birthday.
And she
wow,
90 now.
She's
So it's
90
been a
now, so it's been a
bit.
10
bit.
years. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, Texas, it's still Texas. It's still Texas.
Yeah,
It's still Texas.
We chat with them online all the time.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm grateful. And the fact that you're spending time with us through this month is huge. I know you all could be asleep or doing all the other things that you could be doing, but the fact that you're spending time with us and just helping us to get organized in this kitchen and gain some confidence in the kitchen to where we're happy in our own homes eating our own food.
Yeah.
And I know you could be doing anything else. I really do. So thank you
No,
This is
again.
what we want to
this
do.
is what we enjoy
Yeah.
doing.
What we want to
Somebody online here could be franchising Fatsos in Texas for us.
do.
You
We
know,
waiting on you. We waiting on y'all.
We
So
want we
yeah.
want we want people to be the best versions of themselves
Right.
for themselves, but also for their family.
families.
That's
And
right.
I tell, we had a customer come up, and his wife, John catered for his wife's business, and she had said to him, my husband had his doctor's appointment. It's not looking
Oh, they
good.
be telling.
Mm-hmm.
They tell on him.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come to me and tell.
And it took him a couple weeks to finally come over and ask some questions, but he started eating, and the one from one week to the next, he was like, I've lost 17 pounds. I'm feeling so much better. And it's just like, you are somebody to somebody, and that's what people need to know. They are somebody to somebody,
That's right.
and somebody wants them to be the healthiest versions of themselves. For being selfish, I want him to be the healthiest for me, and somebody out there is doing that for somebody else too. So.
And we must be doing something right. I mean, it's kind of rewarding to us. And I mean, there's big companies that reach out to us. Medford Airport, the Cancer Center, they can go to big catering companies, but they know what we do for a living, and
They want their people to be healthy
they
too.
want their people to be healthy.
right.
And so we have these big corporations, Knife River, that reached out to us. We catered their summer company picnic, 275 people. But
Wow.
it's just they know how we cook, and we won't. What's the word?
Not compromising.
Yeah, we won't
No.
compromise.
Mhm.
I have some that'll, John, can you? Nope, I'm not making that.
Can you make French fries?
I'm
No,
like, nope, not doing
We're
that.
not
Can you
doing
make
French
baked
fries.
potatoes? Nope,
Nope.
I'm not doing that.
we're not doing that. Do you have chips? Nope.
Nope, that don't
We
sell
don't have
chips.
that.
But they've heard about our food so much that
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. That's the thing that, online, the reviews we get are just like wonderful to us. People are like, you've got to go check out Fatsos, even if you're not keto, the flavors and this, and that's just those reviews that we get keep us going.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having us. Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
We'll see you next week, same time. And
Same
we're gonna chat on Grandmama's porch next week.
Grandma. All right. We're going to do it.
Okay, well, thank you again.
Thank you
And
all.
Welcome.
all right, thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.